Hello, friends. I don't know if anybody's going to see this, and I guess, you know, I am making this because I want at least the thoughts that I have about it to be out there in the short time we all have left. And I guess not to be dire, but who knows what's going to happen. I was having a debate tonight with a friend. It started out as a debate about some writings by Edmund White. And I love Edmund White as a writer. I think he's one of the most elegant American writers currently writing today. I had been disappointed by his last few books because I thought they were playing on gay tropes about a certain soullessness, a certain beauty as a commodity system, and being the only commodity that in the gay world, however we choose to define it, there were only three currencies, and those were beauty, youth, and money. Say nothing of the soul, say nothing of humanity, but that was it. That was it. And I objected to that because I object to that. I reject that so strongly. And I reject it because when people say to me, gay culture is about, a six-pack and getting likes on Instagram and getting people to subscribe to your OnlyFans and, being shirtless and nipple clamped and gorgeous at every moment of your life, I object to that. I object to that. And I object to it not on the... I object to it as a grammarian because that is a custom of a culture. That is not a culture. A culture has to do with art and messaging about what is important to those people. Now, you can say that there's certainly overlap. I agree that there is. There's a reason why, in every, I think, Douglas Carter Bean play I ever went to, somebody showed a six-pack. There's a reason why Jack O'Brien put some random guy's ass in every play, even though it's not necessary. I get it. I get it. And I'm probably going to get in trouble for both those things. But you know what? Who knows? Who knows? But that's a custom. And that gay custom is based on centuries of trauma. And it is based on a capitalist understanding of life and a very male-driven white capitalist version of what is important. And I think as we're having these national conversations about escaping this paradigm of white supremacy, that we have to see the ways in which it trickles down into all our cultures. And it's a big part of gay culture. It's a big part of gay culture. And it needs to be disseminated. It needs to be talked about within the confines of gay culture, but it also needs to be ripped out. If we're doing the anti-racism work, we have to do it within the gay community. We have to. And we have to look at the tropes in which that happens within our gay lives. We have to discuss why you don't see a lot of black bodies on Fire Island. We have to have those discussions. We have to have the discussions about, it's remarkable to me that you get a flyer for gay bingo and there's some naked man on it. And he's not going to be at that bingo. He's not going to be. Are you going there because you're hoping? Because let me tell you, you're going to be disappointed. There's going to be a drag queen who's half in the bag, reading numbers because, she was supposed to do a number tonight, but she's too drunk. And it's about sitting with your friends and getting just as drunk as her and maybe winning a big bottle of lube or some joke handcuffs. That's what gay bingo is. There aren't those people there. And if they are, they're just playing bingo along with you. And I get this, I get the mentality that is gay culture, but that isn't culture. That isn't culture, it's custom. And that custom is based on these old modalities that we all got fed. We all got fed, and we continue to feed. We continue to feed because we continue to say these things as if they're truth. That if you're over 40, you might as well give up, that no one's going to love you. If you don't have a six-pack, you have no currency in the world. You have no value. You have no right to be loved. How dare we take this great culture, this gay culture that escapes a heteronormative paradigm, and just reinforce it with this continual backward messaging about who has the right to be loved and who has the right to be valued in our world. How dare we do that? That's not why Stormy D. Lavelle threw the fucking first punch at Stonewall. It's just not. It's just not. And when we continue to just feed into it, we're just playing the game by their rules. Gay culture to me is about people that step outside the paradigm and make something beautiful. People that covet, people that take the ordinary and turn it into something extraordinary. Our main power as gay people is being transformative. And that comes from the very nature of our bodies. That we do not have progenitive sex, that we do not have sex where families can be made just by accident. We make families by deliberation. We make families by bonds of friendship. We transform people who would be strangers into people who are lovers and friends and mothers and daughters. We transform. It is so fucking-mental. That's gay culture. And yes, you see all this shit on the internet. And I fall into it too. Don't think that I'm some high and mighty. I don't want to look at some ass midday on my Instagram. Don't even think for a minute that's not what I'm doing. But I also have the humility to understand that what I like may not be what everybody else likes. I also have just enough sense of myself to understand that I like certain things about the world, and I like certain kinds of faces, and I like little pointy things. That's what I like. It doesn't mean that I have to expect that everyone else going to like them, because I'm not some imperialist of other people's desire. I have no desire to do that. And I guess what offends me so much when this question about what is gay culture comes up, and we revert to these answers about six-packs and money, is because it just seems so fucking old-fashioned and wrong. Because I really do. It's based on trauma. It's based on, I read books from the 30s and from the early days of gay literature, when people were writing about, you would hear these street queens say, like, don't be gay over 30. Don't be, you're not a twink after 25. You're, like these ageist tropes that you're only valuable as a young, hot person, and it's reinforced all the time. Go to your fucking Twitter, go to your Instagram. Like, it's constant. We're all doing it. We're all feeding into it. But don't you think, as gay people, and I mean this really intellectually, don't you think for a minute as gay people, maybe we could turn it around a little? Maybe, just maybe, we could do what we're designed to do and think outside the box a little and not be such a fucking imperialist about other people's desire. Like what you like, sure, there's no shame in that. But also admit that there's lots of other things to like. Also admit that there's a whole world out there that maybe you're not exploring. And have a fucking moment of just realizing that your viewpoint is one among many. Could you take a moment and place yourself in a larger scheme of things? And I get angry about it because I do see these things. I don't know if you've been watching, perhaps you haven't, but that there was a young kid, God, 5 or 6 years ago, called Lohanthony, right? Lohanthony, and he was just this cute little kid, and he was swinging his leg around, and he said calling all the basic bitches. It was very adorable, and I remember watching that video and just applauding that I lived in a world where someone that young could be that gay and celebrated, because that was not my experience. And it made me smile. I was very grateful for it. It was the same way there was another little gay kid who, do you remember they were talking about Lady Gaga or something? He kept posing into the camera. It was one of those new shots, and he's doing his own thing. I'm delighted by that. I'm delighted by their sense of individuality, that they can do these things, that they can be free. Well, recently, Lohanthony published this video about how he's gone to gay conversion camp, and how he feels like he's found Jesus, and Jesus is telling him to be celibate and to not express his sexuality, because he again fell on these tropes of, it's all about muscles and drugs, and I sat back and I listened and I said, now whose fault is that? Whose fault is it that kid went and did that? Now, I'm going to say he's an adult. I believe that he can make his own choices. But I look at it, how did we fail that kid? How did we as a gay community fail that kid? Because that kid only found negative here. And I can't tell you the amount of stories that I've heard from people. And I've said myself, the worst things, the worst homophobia, the worst comments of my life have always been at the hands of other gay men. Absolutely. Absolutely. I was thinking tonight about a story, and it was part and partial with this, I think. But I was thinking tonight about a story. My first audition for anything professionally, I was 18 years old. I was auditioning for a summer stock in New Hampshire. And there was an older gay man who owned the theater. And I went in, I got a call back. I went in, and there was this lovely table of people who eventually all became my friends, wonderful people. And I sang a song, and the older gay man behind the table, who was the owner of the theater, said, "You have a beautiful voice. It's a shame you're so fat and no one will ever want to listen to you." And I was 18 years old, and that was the first feedback I got as an actor. And I think about those things not because I'm still in that place, but because I saw him in that moment, and I see him now, years later, as a gay man trapped in a paradigm that was meant to exclude as many people as possible, and probably even himself. That was outfitting his mind with this idea that beauty only exists in one way, that care should only be attended to those who one deems beautiful, and that beauty is a commodity that will enable things or discount things. And that's a lot of gay culture. And you can get into all the reasons why that happens. You can get into all of it. You can even break it down for me to physiology, saying that, you know, there are studies done where male people are much more visual they're much more visual. It's why men are much more into porn, because it's a visual stimulation rather than being told something. Men tend to be visual learners as opposed to other things. I can get with it. I can get why you would want to see a naked person and maybe go and think they were there. I can understand that there are standards of beauty. Absolutely. I don't think I'm arguing that point. I just am trying to get to the matter of, why do we build up this culture along other people's lines and then kowtow to it like it's unchangeable? Like it's unchangeable. I mean, show of fucking hands. How many people are exhausted by this need to constantly be fed these images of everything you're fucking not? And there's no energy given. There's absolutely no energy given to all the things you are and can be. I mean, what is our purpose here if not to build a soul? And how defeatist is it to live in this idea of what your gay life is supposed to be like, when very few people can reach it, attain it, and sustain it? It's elitist. And isn't that the thing we're fighting against? Isn't that the world we're trying to get rid of for a minute? Didn't you, as a young gay person, want to be free? So why would you handcuff yourself like this? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Because gay culture lives so differently in me. The people that are important to gay culture live so differently to me. The things that I celebrate within myself about being gay live so differently within me. And yet, like so many people I know, I'm tortured by these images of the things I cannot be. I'm tortured by these paradigms that even as I know that they are based in years of hiding and closet life that harmed so many people. And then, you know, finally getting out into the sunlight in the 70s and realizing that we're still figuring it out, only to be kicked in the teeth by something like AIDS. I get why I think the way I do in a history. I understand the messaging as it came to me, but yet I still think about it. Because so many of us are just reinforcing these tropes that make no fucking sense. I know gay men in their 70s who are dating more than I do. I know people with lots of different bodies, and I know lots of different people that love those bodies. And I know that, you know what? Hopefully, whatever success I may or may not have, that at the end of the day, somebody out there may just kind of want to like me for being myself and not having money or status. Because that's the thing that you hoped for when you were a little gay kid somewhere. Oh, I cried a drop of ad, don't worry. But that's the thing you hoped for. That finally you would fit in, you would be accepted. That finally somebody would love you for the person you truly were. Because the burden of being a gay child was that you worried that everyone would just not love you if they ever found out who you truly were. Why do we continue to re-traumatize ourselves? Why can't we have a deeper discussion about this? And why can't we have a real conversation about us making a culture of our own? You know? Not getting fed what fucking Chase Bank thinks what I want to see on a float. You know, the biggest thing that I heard from everybody this year about Pride in New York was it was so great to see people who are doing work and impassioned about something rather than having fucking Chipotle throw, I don't know, guac at you. Bunch of naked people. I mean, why don't we mean something anymore? And I do, we still do. When I think about gay culture, I think about amazing things. There's so much amazing work going on by people of color, by, you know, I love fucking Jeremy O'Hara's watching him be so fucking gay on Instagram. It's a joy to me. The costumes, the insights, he's a fucking delight. I hope I meet him in person because I tell him to his face. And I think about fucking Nico Dooley running an opera based on fucking Marnie. How fucking gay is that? And Sam Pancake doing scenes from fucking Postcards from the Edge. And when I text him about it, he says, you know what? They're really strangely cathartic. And so many other people making so much fucking amazing art. And 90% of those people are not the things that we place gay culture on. Fucking Cola Scola is playing a woman on national television. And no one's batting an eye. You're living in a wonderful time. And yet, when people talk about gay culture, they don't talk about that. They don't talk about the art. They don't talk about the wonder that's out there. They don't talk about, you know, their friend that made a dress from Barbie doll heads. And that's, to me, that's gay culture. That's what it is. It's transformation. They talk about feeling left out at a fucking underwear party. And they talk about, you know, not having abs enough or being told they're too bald or fat or old to ever feel wanted. And, you know, and I sit and I watch the tropes come out about gay people and especially gay men. And I sit there and I know sometimes horribly in my heart that some of them are true, but it's true because we allow it to be true. We allow it to be true. We allow the customs we have to happen. We absolutely allow it. And I'm telling you right now, I can only say that I'm doing the work on myself to not have any part of it anymore. To not. Because it just kills people. It absolutely kills people. I mean, you don't have to agree with me, but there's a reason. There is a reason why gay and lesbian people have the amount of drug use we have. And some of it's family stuff, but some of it's our own shit. We refuse to take care of each other. How we just want to, you know, get handed the keys to our own handcuffs and think they're unopenable. maybe I'm just home too much. Maybe I'm just home too much, and maybe I don't know, I think maybe I'm missing humanity in a way. But the truth is, I look around and I see so many fabulous people, so many fabulous gay people, of so many genders and expressions and races and ages. And I hear it pains me so much over and over to hear these kind of rules, these unwritten rules spouted out. You can't meet over anyone over 40. God help you if you're 50 and dating. It's a lonely life. I heard that as a kid, and I still hear it now, and I hear it from gay people. And I don't want to play a part of that anymore. I don't want a part of that anymore. I don't want to hurt anybody with my shit like that. So to do that, I have to do the work. I have to do the work to get rid of that hetero bullshit. The capitalist, and I know everybody's, capitalist, how is it capitalist? Because you know what? Half of it's about fucking money. And who gets to go, if you don't think gay culture has a capitalist aspect right now, you're not paying attention. We all do. Jesus Christ. It's ridiculous. And if we're really going to dismantle it, you have to do it within yourself. You have to do it. And you have to have these conversations. And you have to pick these things apart. Because it's very easy to fall back into the pattern because it's every fucking where around you. We are living in the most conformist age ever, even though everybody thinks they have their own emoji. Baby. Ooh. Nope. It's an act of rebellion just to goddamn be yourself. But you have to do the work. You can't fall into it. And I also think, you know what? I don't want to be put upon that that's what gay culture is anymore. Because that's not the culture. As someone who is making gay culture, I resent the implication that I am playing into that fucking capitalist, ageist, racist paradigm of what is gay, what is acceptable gay. I can tell you from the pit of my soul, I reject it. I don't want any part of it. And nobody interesting to me has ever wanted any part of it. You look back at the people who have made gay culture, fucking look at them. None of them would be invited to the party. John Waters, Divine. I've been reading these articles recently. I'm going to cry again. Can you believe this? I'm going to cut this off short because I'm probably ruining my career right now. But I was reading, I'm going to cry about fucking Jimmy Baldwin. I love James Baldwin. There's a picture of him right near my desk. I was reading these articles and they kept talking about it. Jimmy feeling as though he was ugly. Jimmy Baldwin. Feeling that he was ugly, that he would never be loved because of it. And I read it. Why am I? This is all the time. I cry all the time. All the time. It's terrible. It's really terrible. I need the moisture. I'm getting older. But anyway, I was reading these articles and it said that Jimmy really, he always believed that he was ugly. And it hit me so hard because I struggle with the same thing. It's very hard for me to take a compliment. It's very hard to believe that anyone will ever love me. Often. That's my own trauma that I'm trying to get over. And I don't say it for your sympathy. I say it just because we're having a moment of honesty. And I'm listening to fucking Jimmy Baldwin. And I think, God, you're Jim Baldwin. Like, you're James Baldwin. You're a genius. You're a genius. You are on high. This magnificent being could do anything. And he thought he was ugly. And he was far from it. Even old Jimmy Baldwin with that smile that was so big and that gap in his tooth. I mean, just what radiance. What radiance. And we do it all the time to people. Because we play by other people's rules and we just punish each other for it. And I'm just tired. I'm tired of that being the truth. And I'm tired of it. And hurt so many other people. I'm real tired of it. And in these moments where we're really analyzing things, being contemplative and seeing if there's even a possibility of building a new world, even if we can allow ourselves the space to believe that there's hope enough to build a new world, I wish that somehow gay people could have the conversation about what's important to us and what got handed to us and what's not ours to deal with, and to make something that is our own and celebrates what we are. Because we're fucking transformative. And when your culture doesn't celebrate that, when we don't bring that to the fore, when we don't let people know that there's space for them, people who have pleaded their whole lives to find space become hopeless. And they get involved in drugs. And let's be honest, I'm talking about drugs that are dark, meaning drugs that take you into a really bad place. If you want to use drugs I'm not going to get into that whole debate, but I'm just saying a lot of people in this community suffer from addiction, and addiction, and everything that I've read, is a symptom of not feeling connected. It comes from a deep, deep need to feel connected, to feel important. That's why AA can work for people, because it's about being accountable, being in relationship with people. When you think about how many of us have suffered from that, and it's by our own hands. It's by our own hands. And yes, we're human, and yes, we can be forgiven a lot, of course. But you know what? We can also do better. we can also do better. We have to start having conversations about what it is to be a gay soul. And I know that sounds trivial, but we have to do the deeper work because nobody in the previous generations has been able to do it. We're the first generation where I will grow up and be out my whole life. I'm part of that trend. I wasn't out my whole life, but younger people for me were. Oh my God. I mean, I was visible my whole life as a gay person, but not out. But we live in a time of enormous freedom. We live in a time where we've broken down so many barriers of shame. We continue to break them down. Isn't now the time to really do the rest of the work? Isn't the time now to really invest in what we consider our culture, what it means? I'm sorry for talking your ear off tonight. It's just, I get real passionate about certain things, and I think getting a little older and getting a little more perspective, I sit back and I say, you know what? I only have one chance at this. And that may sound nihilistic to many of you. Perhaps it is, and perhaps that's the mood of our time. But I only have one chance at this. And I would hope to come out on the better end. I would hope to have been through this experience and learned something from it. I would hope to create something in the time that I'm here. And I would hope to be remembered well, in that I brought people joy, that I touched people's lives. I would hope that is the goal. And part of that is, having conversations like this. But part of that's also making the fucking art that says what gay culture is to me. And trying to fucking get rid of these monstrosities that we've allowed to take over. That's custom, and we have every right to break custom. Every right. We have to. Because custom is there to serve the needs of a community. Customs that build up our myths, to tell our stories. Custom is there to serve us. We're in charge of it. So why don't we just change it? Why don't we just change it? And yes, it's going to be a lot of letting shit go. But you know what, girl? It's time to recondo this whole bitch and throw out every piece of it that doesn't work. Every piece. It's time. It is time. It is time. It is time. And I guess I feel so strongly about it because I think there's so much, there's so much great gay art being made and so many great, wonderful LGBTQ people getting stuff made. And they're still getting forced out because they get marginalized within their own community. And I don't know. I think that's really shitty. I think it's really shitty. So I guess what I'm telling you in 40 goddamn minutes, oh my God. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. She talks. She endlessly talks. All I can tell you, and perhaps the only perspective I have tonight, is that I am, as a person, as an artist, I am committing myself to doing the work of bringing this shit down. I am committing myself to making gay culture that is inclusive, that is committed to seeing the heart and the soul of these people, and not just the sexual act or the power or the money they have behind them. I'm committed to making art that looks like the gay community. It feels like the gay community, that is about our stories and about our souls. And that's culture. And I'm not the only one, but I will tell you that I have no time for your gay custom, which idolatra, I don't know how to say that. Idol worship something. One word, you'll get it. But, who celebrates youth in that way, who celebrates a certain kind of commercial white beauty, and who believes that, status has to be everything. I'm absolutely rejecting that. I'm absolutely rejecting it. I won't play with it anymore. And I hope that if this video does nothing else for you, that it gives you at least the small permission to ask yourself how you do and what your life would be like if you didn't participate in that culture. And I will guarantee you, that custom, I'm blowing my whole argument. You won't participate in that custom anymore. And I guarantee you that you will see some improvement. If I'm going to be a weird fucking life coach at 12:46 on the fucking, what is happening? What's happening? But I'm telling you, just get out of it. Get out of it. In the words of my friend Natalie Joy Johnson's song, Get Into It. There are certain things you get into. There are certain things you get out of. Gay custom, you get out of it. Because let me tell you, it doesn't serve anybody. It serves a very small group of people. And if they want it, they can have it. But you know what? Good luck to them. Good luck to them. Because I'm going to be over here doing my own goddamn thing, listening to Karen and Carpenter, making some beautiful abuse-moosh. Amuse-bouche. Abuse-moosh is actually my drag name. Abuse-moosh. I'm going to be over here making culture with a whole bunch of really interesting, really cool people who have decided that their gayness comes with the gift of really making up your life. I'm going to be over here. That's where I'm sitting. And for everybody else that wants to do their own thing, they're free to do it, because I also have the humility to believe that I'm just this little sunflower, and I can only make rules for me. So here's my 45-minute not comedy special, Marvelous, where I cried 3 times. I talked about Jimmy Baldwin and Lohanthony. And I mean, there's pings are happening, only they're all over the place, girl. All over the place. I will leave you with this final thought, this final observation. just something to make you laugh. I say this, and it's controversial, and if she watches this, who knows? Who knows who to watch this? But if she watches it, I would take her out to dinner and argue these points with her lovingly. But I've been going back and I've been rewatching the series of Drag Race because I really love the show because I get to see so few gay people that are really just gay on television. And I will say this, while I applaud all the young people on Queer Eye, I also just kind of reject this feeling of gay servitude that we have to go fix other people's lives. Really, the call is coming from inside the house. So I don't tend to watch that. But I've been watching Drag Race recently, rewatching Drag Race, and I have to say, this is the last little observation I'm going to leave you with tonight, is that if you go back and watch Michelle Visage, her critiques are often wrong. They're often wrong. From week to week, and I say this lovingly, she'll tell somebody one thing one week and one thing another week, and it just confuses them, and then they go home. I'm telling you, it's a real pattern. And let me tell you, also, Santino Rice, wow. Not great even. You think, oh, maybe he wasn't so bad, and then you go back, oh, he was worse. I don't know. I don't know why anybody needed to hear that. But that's just my little opinion. Listen, sorry to get philosophical on you. It's just a thought. I was just thinking about it tonight, and I thought I would share it. I may delete this, who knows? But thanks for listening. Pass it around if you want to have a discussion about it, and we'll talk very soon. All right. Have a good night.